Hey guys, MCU Collector here with the next video in the Hasbro Marvel Legends series Retro X-Men Wave 1. Here we have Silver Samurai. What an awesome one. It's the only villain in the wave, which is why it has the purple card. So I wasn't aware of that, but a bunch of you guys on Instagram and then on YouTube, you guys all let me know and informed me that the original line, the villains were on the purple card, whereas the heroes, the X-Men, were on the orange card. So that's why this one is purple, because he is a villain. So Hasbro went kind of true to that and really gave us that nostalgia factor. So Silver Samurai, he is awesome because he is all new sculpt. The feet might be reused, but everything else on this guy is going to be new. So that is pretty amazing that they would actually do that in one of these waves. We know that the vintage waves, both 1 and 2, were just 100% repaints. There was nothing new about any of those figures. So here we actually have something that's completely new. So that is absolutely amazing. I'm very surprised and shocked that Hasbro did this, but very excited for it. So really cool. You can see the artwork. Marvel 80 years. We got Silver Samurai there. Notice on the little blast, it says Katana and Wakazashi. I don't know how to pronounce that, so I had to look that up, and it's a different sword compared to the katana, so it should be shorter, I believe, which is that one. And I thought they were the exact same, but this one's actually a shorter sword, so that's pretty interesting there. So there's the front of the package. Here is the back of the package, looking pretty cool. I like the little drawn outline of it. We have all the figures in the wave, and there is a bio. Let's check that out right now. Silver Samurai. The Silver Samurai has but one goal in life: to become the leader of the Japanese underworld. Trained in the martial arts and wielding a massive katana, this honorless samurai may have already achieved his desire, if not for the interference of the X-Men. So interesting. So there he is. Let's get this thing opened up, and I'm going to tear this card apart. Sorry for all you mint on card collectors, but that's what I got to do with this figure. And you know what? I think I'm going to do some of it here on camera for you guys to see, because my friend Plastic Addict George said I should have done it on camera. So here goes. Rip this thing apart. And there is the figure. So now I'll get him out of the plastic and set him up. Alright, and here is the Silver Samurai figure out of the package, and he looks awesome! But functionality-wise, articulation, he is lacking, but he does look really, really good, so I'm really happy about that. So first impressions are just okay. I'm happy with it, but for all of you guys that are looking to do some dynamic poses with this guy, you might be a little bit disappointed. But let's get in for a closer look to check out all the cool things about the figure and show you some of the bad QC paint apps that we have on this guy. Now, I know some people think I've ranted on and complain about all these things. For one, I don't think it's a lot to ask for to have clean paint apps on a figure. Ultimately, if there's bad paint apps, oh well, okay. I'm not going to go out and get a replacement figure unless there's like paint missing on one whole thing or something of that nature. So otherwise, it just doesn't bother me that much. But I would think I would point it out as I am reviewing a figure, so just to show you guys and keep you guys informed. But anyway, let's get in for a closer look. Okay, so here is a closer look at the Silver Samurai, and he looks pretty good. I like the way the helmet looks on top of the head. So one thing that you could see Hasbro did to make it look like a realistic size, that you know, only it's kind of sculpted into that, so it's a separate piece glued onto the face, but there's a cut in there to actually fit for the helmet, so it gives it a nice natural looking fit and not looking too big. So I like the way that looks. This design here, these are very pliable. You want to be careful with that. And then you could see a little bit of white in the eyes. The left eye looks like it's down a little bit. That's, you know, not what I was talking about earlier, but you see this little paint spot right there. And then on the collar, that's actually because of the neck that had to be painted. And there's just like overspray there, and then there. That gets covered up. That's pretty not noticeable, but that's right in front. So that's kind of noticeable, but again, it's not something that I'm going to go replace the figure for or anything like that. But there are some tricky things, like with these rope pieces here that go around to the back of the figure. Those are actually very small pieces. Those got painted, and painted quite nicely, I must add. So, you know, Hasbro, they can do it. It's just, you know, whatever's getting past the QC there on those issues. Here, the armor looks pretty good. We kind of have an ab crunch, not an ab crunch, diaphragm joint, because there's no ab crunch. A lot of silver here, but the arms and then the legs have a different silver color to them, so it's different from the armor. So you could see like what's the actual armor and then what's like the suit underneath. As you could see there, it's a different color there. These shoulder pieces are kind of done in a different gray aside from that, so it's more gray, whereas the armor is silver. So it would have been nice if this would have been the same silver color that we see throughout the armor. Well, I guess this skirt piece and these shoulder pads are the same, so then that's okay. But it looks pretty good there. You can see the design of the paint in the front. There's nothing along the back of the figure at all. The two swords, you can see they go in right here on the side, so you could just pull. Whoop, that one came out because they go too close. So you could just put them in, and same with this one here. But they kind of sit on top of each other there. And these are new katanas from what I could tell, because I don't remember any of the other ones coming with this part. And you guys let me know. I'm not a sword guy, so I don't know what this part's actually called. But the part between the handle and the sword itself, you could see the size difference between the two. Not a whole lot of difference in length, but they definitely are different sizes there. New sculpt on the arms and the gauntlet pieces there. Skirt is just flaps up. It's done with a very pliable rubber plastic, so no need to worry there. We get the same design that we saw in the gauntlets on the armor that goes over the boots. And then the feet are done in the same silver color that we see throughout the rest of the suit. So there he is. Now let's take a look at that articulation. Okay, so we'll go over the articulation on this guy. So one thing I had mentioned earlier is that he is pretty lacking in terms of some dynamic poses that you're going to be able to get him into. And there's some weird things about it. So for one, the head, he's not going to get to look up. That's just not going to happen because the way the helmet is, as it comes along the back, it just doesn't allow for articulation up. He can look down, though, so that's good. At least he has that. Of course, you get full swivel, tiny bit of neck pivot. Arms can go out that much. The shoulder pad doesn't really get in the way. It kind of, I mean, it's stuck there, but that, I don't know, that shoulder's going to come up anymore, so it does stop it a little bit. There is an upper bicep swivel there. You actually get a double jointed elbow as well. There is a wrist swivel, and the hinge is the roll of the dice motion. You can see there, and then the same for the right hand, and they're both just open hands, so he can hold the sword on either hand. There is no ab crunch, so we have a diaphragm joint. So one thing, it looks good here, but when you start to do stuff like that, they didn't continue through on the armor at all. So that's going to look bad depending on what you do. So you can see it just, you get that gray inside of there. Now I understand that this type of body armor wouldn't allow for much motion anyway, but it just doesn't look good when you do stuff like that. Now if you crunch forward, it's not so much an issue because it just goes over it, separates here on the back, but just looks kind of weird for me. And I just noticed that there's actually these ties to hold the armor together, and those ties are actually painted the same color as those ties that are up here, so that's pretty cool. The little detail things like that where they hit the paint mark, so that's pretty cool. So you do get some side pivot motion in there, so that's really good. So again, that's the back motion, that's the front motion there. Waist swivel, legs go out that far apart, and the skirt piece doesn't get in the way at all because it just moves along with the articulation. It's not going to get in the way of kicking out forward on the leg, even though he doesn't kick out all that forward. Doesn't really go back much either. There is an upper thigh cut there, a double jointed knee, which works out well. There is a boot swivel there. Foot hinges down a little bit, hinges up only slightly because the design of this armor piece over the shin, so that's going to stop it, the foot right there. But you do get ankle pivot, and there are peg holes down at the bottom. So again, it's just, you can't get the head up, and then that kind of articulation looks a little funny. But other than that, he has pretty much the standard articulation that you'll see on most figures. So there he is. Now, Silver Samurai, there's some interesting things. I looked it up. There's been a couple of different ones. I'm just going to touch on some key points here. He was the original Big Hero 6 team. I believe he was the leader, but it's not the same Big Hero 6 that Disney released. in that movie, which I loved, my kids loved. It's a very different take on it, but Silver Samurai was actually part of that. Later on, becoming more of a villain, his son, I believe, took over the role, and that's kind of the version that was in the Wolverine movie, where Logan, he went to Japan. Although that they changed Silver Samurai quite a bit in that movie, even so. Kind of interesting. Just thought I'd touch on that a little bit. As far as the katanas, they can go into his hand. They just slip in like so. And he can hold the swords. So that's it. That's my review. If you guys have any questions on him, you guys let me know down in the comments below. What do you guys think of this figure? Are you excited about it? Are you getting it? And if you get it, are you going to take it out of the package, or are you going to leave it mint on card? I myself will get a second one to keep mint on card. I will have the whole entire wave to keep mint on card because the packaging just looks awesome when you put it like up on a wall or something. That's what I'm going to do. If you guys liked the video, please hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so, and hit that notification bell. And as always, guys, thank you for watching.